My experience has been really amazing. I've met people from very different backgrounds, not just from software engineering. All of them have different conditions and they have different challenges. One of the major problems that the mentees in Pesto feel is that they are like working side by side, so it's very difficult for them to do all the time management and stuff. It has been a learning for me as well, that understanding the need of a student and then guiding them according to that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Humans of Pesto. I'm your host, Laisha, Head of Developer Relations at Pesto. Today, we have with us a very special guest. He's an amazing mentor and has helped guide and mentor many students through Pesto's fellowship programs. We are delighted to have you today, Manish. To kick things off, why don't you tell us something about your journey and how did you find yourself on this road of mentorship?
First of all, thank you, Laisha, for having me here. It's been a pleasure. Since after my college, I've been mentoring students like my juniors through different ways. Okay, so and in between, I have also done some mentorship with some NGOs. I knew about Pesto, I think since 2019. Then I got to know that there is an opening for the mentorship role. So I tried that, and I always had this passion of mentoring students and getting to know their problems, and then sharing my experiences with them.
Absolutely. I think mentorship goes a long way in, not just guiding folks, but also, learning and giving back.
Correct.
So since joining Pesto, how's your experience has been so far?
So yeah, my experience has been really amazing. I've met people from very different backgrounds, not just from software engineering, from different backgrounds as well, and from different states of and all of them have different conditions and they have different challenges. So it has been a learning for me as well, that understanding the need of a student and then guiding them according to that.
I think being a developer yourself, I think you know the importance of mentorship that it plays in the life of a developer, right? So, in your own journey so far, what do you think is the importance of mentorship in growing as a developer and going forward in your career as well?
So, like in my own journey, I've also, done some mistakes, and wasted a lot of time in going in the wrong direction. So, I always felt that I wish there could be someone who can guide me into the right direction so that I could have saved time. And it's always like you have two options basically. So, one is that either you can try it on your own way and then you can learn from your mistakes, or there could be someone who can, guide you, and even before you make a mistake, the other person can share their experiences, that don't do this and do that, because you can end up doing this mistake or not.
So, in your experience and time with Pesto, are there any specific instances where you've observed that the learners have actually benefited from these, mentorship, and any specific instances that you would like to highlight?
One of the major problems that the mentees in Pesto feel is that they are like working side by side, so it's very difficult for them to do all the time management and stuff. Like in the beginning of a course, generally all mentees have this they in the initial few weeks they go through the curriculum very well, they keep up their pace. But as the curriculum moves forward, they started to sometimes they lack off. But then I have to consult with them, I have to talk with them, that what's happening, how what I even go a little forward and discuss what is happening in their offices, what is happening in their companies. And then they tell me that this is that right now I'm having this much of work pressure. Then sometimes it's not just about the Pesto curriculum, it's also about how I give them tips about how you can manage your time accordingly. And then yeah, I have seen a lot of change. If we compare the beginning of the curriculum and the end of the curriculum, I have seen a lot of change. Now they are very comfortable in learning things side by side, as well as doing their regular jobs.
I think going over and beyond is amazing to see as a mentor, and I would have loved to have one in my own developer journey. So let's get a little personal and understand. Did you have a mentor yourself in your developer journey when you were kind of learning and growing through the years as a developer?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I had a mentor in my developer journey. So I think this is around 2017, 2018. So there is a senior of me. His name is Deepak Agarwal. So he used to, whenever I had any doubts and related to time management or being confused about there are so many technologies, what to learn, what not to learn. So he was the guy like where I go, and he used to tell me that you don't need to worry, just be confident, and he has all the trust in me. So yeah, he's the guy who has been like mentoring me so far.
How do you think your life would have been different if
Mhm.
you didn't have a mentor? Because a lot of people don't realize the importance of mentor, and sometimes they're also a little lost on how and where to find one.
So the first step is like to realize that you need someone. Okay, you can't be like that. I don't need anyone and I'll do it on my own. Okay, you obviously you can do it on your own, but yeah, it will take more time, and yeah, it can be sometimes demotivating. So the first step is to realize, and then once you have realized that you need a mentor, uh, you know people can be anywhere. It can be in your family relationships, and it can be in your in the place where you work. If you're studying, it can be in your college senior, or your your friends and all. So the second step is to actually just go and ask them, like you can ask them casually, like I'm facing this problem, have you ever faced this problem before, can you help me out a little bit. And just yeah, it's the you have to break the ice and go out and reach people, and then you'll figure out that who can be your long-term mentor or not.
And that brings me to something that I also feel as a developer myself, is that when you're working with different mentees, the main thing that a mentor has to figure out is how to cater to everyone's need, and find out the unique opportunity where they can understand what the mentee needs and guide them accordingly. So throughout your journey in the Pesto Fellowship, how do you think you were able to kind of help everyone and cater and kind of understand their needs and create that environment for them?
So there is a phase where we go through concepts of algorithms and data structures. So most of the mentees that we had are working professionally, and in practical, in their daily work, they don't use algorithm and data structures. And even way before, when they have learned it during the college, they haven't practiced it enough. So most of the mentees have this fear around algo ds, how we will solve the questions. I'm not able to understand these things. So uh, apart from the given work hours from the pesto, that I have what I did with my mentees is that I set them to you know to learn it on your own. And if there is any doubt, just because you are feeling a little not much confident around it, so what I'll do is I'll give some extra classes. For example, in within a week, I'll give you 3 extra classes or 3 sessions, so that we can go through the your doubts and whatever they are. So what this did now, that just in order to take those extra sessions from me, they went on their own and they studied it, and they came up with some doubts, because my condition for them was that these extra sessions will only happen if there is any doubt. If there is no doubt, then I'll not provide these sessions. So they went ahead, and then they learned it on your own, and then they asked me to arrange this session, and that's what happened. So I think that you have to understand your mentee and understand their specific needs, what their situation, because not everyone is same. Okay, and they have, some people are good with front end, some are good with back end, some are good with theoretical concepts. So you have to understand, and then you have to answer those questions, and guide them according to that.
I think mentorship takes various facets. I
Yeah.
think at one time you're a guide, at one time you're someone like a friend,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of people view mentorship in various ways, and there are definitely a lot of misconceptions around it. So, what are some of the misconceptions that you think are there? And how do you think you would debunk them for people who are out there, developers specifically, looking for mentors, so that it becomes easier for them to find the one who could guide them on the right path?
Okay. So one of the misconception that I have felt is you know to feel that your mentor is more like your is like a teacher or a professor that you have seen in college and schools. Okay, it's not like that. The mentors are more friendly, and they understand what are your needs. It's not like that we have been given some X amount of minutes and will give this session or will teach you according to that only. And also the one thing that you need to understand is, as a mentee, that your mentor will open up only when you will feel comfortable. Okay, I'm not going to ask you about your personal life or what happening in your, how is your situation in the house and everything, if you are not comfortable with it. But if you are comfortable and if you are sharing those things, then I'm also comfortable in asking those things and understanding your situation much better.
And that kind of brings me to this point where, in today's world, exploring other avenues, especially outside of your skill sets, which could be open source projects, it could be side projects. And I think this has become rather important to develop your skills. So, with your mentees throughout the fellowship program, how do you foster that sense of exploration within your mentees, for them to go above and beyond and explore something outside of their comfort zone?
Okay. Yeah. So generally share this example. I discussed this with them that there are a lot of developers and a lot of engineers out there, and the situation of engineering colleges in India. So in order to stand out from different from others, you have to have a certain uniqueness in yourself. That and it's not like if let's say there is some X things that you can do differently for apart from your work, you are writing, let's say, technical blogs and all. So if one person is writing that, you don't need to write that. You don't need to copy that. You have to feel what you can do differently. Let's say someone is, apart from being a good engineer, someone is good at with social media. So what you can do is you can create reels around technical content. Okay, because you understand the social media better. If you're good with writing stuff and reading stuff, you can be go into the technical content writing area. And similarly, there can be other ways also. Apart from that, if you feel you are more comfortable with understanding different projects and collaborating with different people, so you can also try open source. So yeah, there can be a lot of things that you can do in order to stand different from others. But you also have to be comfortable. It's not something that you are doing on a pressure. Otherwise, you will burn out soon.
Right.
Okay.
I think that kind of brings me to the point, right? A lot of people don't realize the importance it has in their life. So, going and into these endeavors, how does it help them to shape their professional and personal growth, especially in developers?
Okay. So let's first think about the professional growth. So let's say if you are an engineer and you're doing all the technical stuff, but if you start doing the side hustle, it can be related to anything. And so eventually you will find situations in your career, in your life, in your professional life, that where you will feel that this particular thing that I did a long way back is now helping me and or is giving me an advantage over others because I have that sort of experience and insights about this industry or about this skill. Okay, and in personal life, I believe a person should try different things. It's not just you have to be very specific to one particular technology or one particular skill, because that builds you up as a all-rounder person, and it will help you eventually in order to understand different people and in different aspects of your life.
I think those were some great points. And now it's time for some fun.
Okay.
So it's time for the rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Here we go. Here's the first one. What's that one technology that you feel hasn't fully realized itself yet?
I think JavaScript.
If you were a superhero with one tech superpower, what would that be?
Infra DevOps stuff.
I think all the DevOps people would agree, and that's a developer superpower for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Windows or Mac?
Mac.
Okay. iOS or Android?
Android.
Tabs or spaces?
Tabs.
Front end or back end?
Front end.
Java or Python?
Python.
Debugging or refactoring?
Refactoring.
That was a tricky one. Twitter or Threads?
Twitter.
Awesome. You nailed the rapid fire round, Manish. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here. It was a fun experience.
And to all our listeners, thank you so much for joining us for another exciting episode of Humans of Pesto. And we're glad to have these amazing mentors with us in our community. So stay tuned for more such episodes. And until then, keep learning, keep creating, keep coding. Thank you.